Hi folks, today in this particular video we will be gonna understand about what is VPC basically. Alright, so there are a lot of jargons. I enrolled I enrolled to one of the coaching called micro degree folks. So there are a lot of trainers keep on explaining jargons, right? Even I am from Karnataka and Kannadiga. So there are a lot of people, lot of edtechs is the thing, right? So folks are not understanding the things. Okay. So I'm understanding this particular aspect. Okay. So even using this LLM models also they are not able to explain this much layman terms means I'm like crazy, right? So let me explain about it. What is the concept about it? Let me not focus about their abilities and capabilities here. So here I wanted to break it down the concepts here. So make it very simple, layman terms to understand how these things works here. Okay. So even the people don't prioritize their work and family commitments and they will come here. Okay. So they are just fluffing something and they use the old instances and all and they will try to explain those stuffs. Okay, this will not happen here folks. I will be explaining each and everything which is important here, and so beginners can understand. There are a lot of people taking 10,000 of rupees for this particular simple concepts. Even they are not able to understand what they are want to explain. Okay, so let me focus on this part now. So so uh, a VPC is like your own private room. Okay, on the internet inside a AWS. Okay, so I will make it very simple here. A VPC, okay, virtual private cloud, is a one of the service folks. Okay, so understand here. VPC is like a private room. Okay, understand very simple. It's a private room. I will make it short form, so try to understand this part. It's a private room. Okay, so it's a private room on an internet. Okay, try to understand. It's a private room in what? In an internet. So I will make it something like this. Okay, so I will write it as like on the internet. Okay, but inside AWS. So understand, inside the AWS. So this is what the thing is all about. Okay. So the people are not able to understand what they are explaining. Even they commit as they are working in this industries. I don't know what this cloud engineers do here basically. So uh, so let me explain this particularly very detail in very detailed manner. So they will only teach the fluffies here. Okay, so only you see, I will explain once again. VPC is your own private room on the internet. Okay, on the internet inside AWS. So VPC is a service where it will facilitate to create our own private room on the internet inside the AWS. Only you will decide who will enter, who can talk to whom, and who can go outside talk to the world. Okay, similar analogy this particular thing. Okay, so let me explain in this context, right? So let me explain you in this way. Let's say you have a company here, right? So you are creating a company where you will be gonna decide who will be your employees, who will be your peon members, watchmen, security guards. These are the things, right? So this is what the simple analogy that you can relate to, right? So let us discuss about real world analogy now. So imagine AWS is a giant apartment complex. Each tenant, company, or users gets their own flats with doors, rooms, and windows. Similarly, your VPC is one such flat. So, wall is a boundaries, no one can peek inside. Rooms are the subnets where place you put different type of furniture like TV, bed, fridge, or in tech terms, server, database, etc. So main door will be the internet gateway. If you want to let someone comes in or go out to the internet, so this is what the main door will be. And security guard is a security groups and NACL, and who can comes in and who cannot. So let me take an analogy here now. So as you aware about, so AWS is particular service, right? Anything you consider here, it is an AWS here, AWS, right? So what it is trying to give it here, basically here, if you understand very clearly here, AWS is an apartment complex, right? So it's a totally big infrastructure here, big kind of a tables will be considering it of like databases, like data centers it will be containing, right? So see, now understand very clearly here, each tenant, each each tenant means each rented person, right, gets their own flats, right, gets their own flats, doors, rooms, right? Exactly, correct. Are you able to understand, folks? So this is what the things is all about, rooms and falls. So let us understand this analogy. So this is one apartment here. Now let us take and consider it as you are staying here 104 flat number, right? So in this flat, now consider this particular analogy. So why? Because I'm explaining this particular thing. So whatever the walls consider here, right, which is a boundary, no one can sneak and see you inside until you allow, right? So it contains what? It contains walls. I'm just break it down, folks. So I will make it free, make it very simple. So there is a walls, there is a rooms, right? There is a main door, there is a rooms, there is a main door, right? Got it? So this is a main door, right? And there is a security guard who tells that, like, security guard, like, you will decide, right, who can come in and who can go out, right? So this is what the things is all about, the features comes all together. So your VPC is a one such flat, okay? So wall is nothing but a boundaries, okay? You set up the boundaries like 104 is my area, and I will leave my own rules. I will sneak my own rules, right? Where the wall should be, where the room should be, right? So already the infrastructure has been built, so you have your own boundaries here, right? So you have your own rooms, which is something called as subnets, where you places to put different types of furnitures like TV, bed, fridge, or in such terms. In tech terms, we call it as, you can think of it like databases, you can think about of the servers, etc. Right? So main door, what is a main door here basically? It's a internet gateway, folks. So if you wanted to someone, if you want to let someone come in, wanted to someone come in or go out of the internet, this is the main door, right? Main door is what someone will come in and someone will go out, right? That is what the analogy is all about. So security guard. So what is the main role of a security guard, folks? Security guard will check whether the person is genuine or not. It will take, security person will take a permission of yours, this is a genuine person or not, right? So you will be responsible who can comes, who are the persons, which they are the person coming in to our flat, right? So let's make you understand now why AWS starts with VPC first. It's a good approach, right? Why we are studying, no one is talking about. Even the paid courses persons are not talking about, right? So let me talk about that. Okay. So why AWS starts with VPC first? Okay. Why AWS starts with VPC first itself? So every AWS resource, EC2, RDS, Lambda, if an VPC needs a network to live in, okay? So each and services you take it, these are the services under the VPC that are comes in, right? So you cannot launch a server without saying where to put in. So VPC gives you control. So AWS wants you think about the security and networking from the day one. Okay, so understand something like that. You will be having a questions, right? It has already given why we have to create our own, right? So these are the things I also had the same doubt, but no one addressed it. This one, so that's why I'm making a video to make it more clear, and the things will be very clearer and understandable, right? So even I found that is a lacking in particular courses, paid courses. I don't want to deny anyone's capability here. I'm not uh, telling these courses are bad. It's good. At the first, it's good. Gives the foundational concepts, but in the depth, it is not giving a foundational knowledge here. Okay. So whenever whatever the things you will take in interview, folks, foundational is very important, but the peoples are lacking it. Like, I don't know, the peoples are like lacking a lot here in an industry. Whether they are working in an industry also, they are lacking a lot here. Okay. So as a software engineer, we know that cloud engineers only think about the picture. They don't see the bigger picture here. So as a software engineer, that is our duty to make a viewers to understand very clearly. Making only cloud, becoming a cloud engineer, it's not enough. You have to understand how to build a scalable system altogether here. Okay. Skipping a VPC at the beginning means later you will confused when you launch a resources, right? So, and wonder why they can't connect or be reached. Okay, so let me explain you in layman terms. So VPC is a personal isolated space in AWS where your cloud stuffs. like servers, database, etc. lives. You control who allowed in, who can go out, who talks to, and whom inside the space, right? So this is what the things you have to understand at the first, very layman terms, and no one is talking about this layman terms at the first. Okay, so I don't want to bore you with the jargons. So these are the things that each and every professional should take care of. Like nowadays the peoples are very arrogant people, and they are not trying to listen and try to bring in the foundational knowledge. Okay, so let me summarize this particular one, folks. I wanted to make it very simple and layman terms so that everyone understands this, what is a VPC is altogether, and make you to understand. So in later parts we'll try to execute this demo, so you will understand how we can create our own servers, virtual private clouds in an AWS, so that you also relate the same thing, right? How we can create a network, how we can create our own services, how we can separate those services, how we can create a microservice architecture here. Okay, so they are not thinking in a bigger picture, folks. So you have to understand this very clearly. So VPC is a personal isolated space in AWS where your cloud stuff, means what? Servers, databases, etc. etc. means what? Caches, Redis caches, or mobile app you are hosting, your web applications you are hosting, everything, folks. You have to understand VPCs, you have to understand a bigger picture. After this, we'll try to focus all about how these applications will be fitted, all the things like databases, servers, cache. Each and every application will be fitting into the one server, and try to see the how the things from 0 to 100 users it will be going to look at. Okay, so in summary, what you have to understand is, like, you control the control in your hands, like you, who is allowed in, who can go out, who talks to whom inside the space, right? So like just something like that. If you have your own land, you will think about it, right? who is who is staying here, who is allowed in, who is going out, all the things you will be gonna do that, right? So let me explain you step by step now, so what is the concept behind that, and so that you will understand a lot here. Okay, so diagrams is not important, folks. You have to understand very ground level what is the things is happening here. So subnet is a room inside your apartment. Now consider this is your flat now, right? This is your room basically, right? This is your room. Consider this is a room. Okay, like this is your room in your apartment. You put certain items like server, databases, something like this. Like you put fridge in kitchen, maybe, right? You put these things, right? Like guests are allowed. So similarly, you have to understand things. So you put certain items in different rooms depends on their use, correct? You would not put your fridge in bedroom, correct? Similarly, there is a public subnet. It's like your living room. Okay. Private subnet is a bedroom. Is like your bedroom. Only internal people can access it. So understand very clearly, folks. So no one is explaining in this way. So understand in this way, like privacy when it comes, like when you coming into the bedroom, there should be a privacy, correct? Only in the living room the guests are allowed. So understand, this is the guests, like public subnet, right? So you have to understand this is a public subnet. Okay, That is what in general terms you have to understand. This is only you have to explain to the interviewer. You are the great at doing things. Okay. And when I'm talking about private subnet, so it's like a bedroom, right? You will be not sharing anyone, right? So it's a private subnet, right? So understand like something like that. So I hope comment down below, folks, how you are thinking this particular concepts. Is that making sense or not? Let me know in comment down below. Okay, so this is the way. Okay, so it's a room where the certain items were fit in. So that is what the subnet concepts will come in. So what is the use of this basically? So public facing things, for example, website is a public subnet, and internal things like databases will be in private subnet, right? So understand very clearly. So you will be not exposing each and every to the public, right? So such as databases, what the data is going here, like what kind of a text app we are using to building the backend, all the things will be not exposed. So certain things has to be hidden. So that's why that is called as a private subnet. We will use the concept of a private subnet there, and we will be gonna fit such particular services there. Okay, we will be fitting those items there. In that context we'll be gonna take it. Okay, so now let us understand about what is an IGW here. So it's an internet gateway. Okay, so let's understand very clearly. This is the main door of your apartment to the outside the world, that is an internet. Okay, this is the main door where you can go outside of your flat. So what is the use? You will attach to your VPC that you have configure routing to use it. So whenever you go, you have to go from this path and you have to reach your apartment, right? So this is what you have to understand, folks. Okay, if you wanted to order a food or let a friend come over, you need a door to go in or out. So this is what IEW will do. So it lets your VPC talks to the internet, and it will tell you which route to take. Okay, so understand. So like it's basically attached to your VPC to configure routing to use it. Routing to use it basically means so where it should go basically, right? So whenever someone comes, right, where they should go, that is what the internet gateway will do. Okay, IGW that is. So now another concept comes in here, that is route table. So think of it as like a Google Maps for your VPC. It decide how traffic should move from between rooms or to outside the world. Okay, so understand very clearly. Now here distributed computing concepts will come in the place. So that is what the route table will talk about it here. Okay, so now let's discuss about the route table. Okay, so no one is talking about it, we will gonna discuss that. Okay, these are the theoretical concepts, folks, but no one is explaining in general things here. Okay, so now when it comes to the route table, think of it like a Google Maps for your VPC. Okay, so it decide how traffic should move between the rooms or to outside the world. Okay, so moves between the rooms, right? Like let someone visits your website, whether I should pass it to this website, this domain, or what path I need to take. Let's say understand here. Explain. I am explaining very real, very understandable. Slash. Let's say I am. This route table is navigating. Your VPC will be gonna decide that which particular path it has to take the path. let's say www.google.com, right? So what it will be gonna do that your route table will navigate towards between the rooms or outside the world, right? Let's say this thing doesn't found, right? Let's say you told that I wanted to visit a GCP, right? Slash GCP. So it will be gonna redirect that. Okay. So think of it like, let's say you walk from your bedroom. So let's say you wanted to walk. You will be in private subnet. If you wanted to move to your living room or leave the apartment, you will go to the internet. You need direction for that, right? So that is what these tables will give, right? You connect public subnets route tables to internet gateway, so it knows how to reach the internet. Private subnets don't get that route, okay? So only public subnets will get the route table, okay? Understand this very clearly here, okay? This route table is able to understand where the particular things traffic has to go, right? Where the user has to navigate through. So that is what you have to understand, okay? So now security group that I told you, right? So it's a virtual bouncer standing out at the door of each server, right? EC2, etc. Imagine each appliance in your room has a bouncer who checks who's allowed to the internet. It's only lets in the people who are in the guest list. It is attached to the server. It's a stateful. If I let you in, if you let you in, you can also go out in the same way, right? So if I given access to go this path, so you can go to access my system, right? So this is what, like, usually the security port is 22 or port 80 for HTTP, only to the trusted resources basically. So another comes in the picture, that is network access control list, that building gatekeeper. So it will control the traffic at the subnet level, not an individual server. So while the security group is the bodyguard of each appliance, right? So network access control list is like a main society gate security. They check all people comes into the building. It is a statelets. You must allow both inbound and outbound traffic explicitly. So uses, you have to set the bound rules. Broad rules for all resources in a subnet. So rarely modified oftenly. So this is what the things you have to talk about. Okay. So let me take this particular thing, so whatever we discussed now, okay? So makes sense, lot of sense here, okay? So real life apartment, that you can consider it as VPCs. Rooms are subnets, main doors are internet gateway, house direction are route table, appliance bouncer are security group, and society gatekeeper is NSCL, network access control list. So let me give a overview of a diagram, whatever we discuss, so that you will understand here. So what we discussed here, we discussed in what is a subnet, and uh, subnet is a small network inside your VPCs, and you divide your VPCs into the subnets so that you can control which resources go where and what level of access each gets, right? So then we understood about real world analogy. Imagine your VPC is a large apartment. You divide the apartment into different rooms like living room, bedroom, and kitchen. So something like that. In living room, it is open for guests. Bedroom is a private, and kitchen, which is a semi-private. So which each room is a subnet. You decide who can enter which room and what each room is used for, right? So types of subnets are public, private, and isolated. So understand real world example if you wanted to consider, like it's a living room, public. You can host websites, you can use the public facing APIs and internet accesses, yes. So when it comes to private, you can consider it as a bedroom. So you can host databases, internal services, but internet access is no for it. Okay. So number 3, isolated. It should cigarette walled room, highly secured, internal for operations, and internet access is no. Okay. So how to create an this subnets? Let's say your VPC CIDR block is 10.0.0.0, like 6 subnets you are creating, right? You want to create public subnet with particular this much kind of a public subnets you need to create, and private subnets you need to create at 24, right? So this is just dividing the main address space into the smaller blocks. Okay, so let me explain you that. So you are cutting the rooms out of the apartment. Each room has a purpose and set of rules. You don't want a fridge to be a talking to a delivery guy, and your TV can talk to everyone, right? That's why we put the TV in public subnet and we put the fridge in private subnet. Okay, so this is what the thing is all about, folks. So I wanted to focus this particular things in detail, folks. No one is talking about this particularly, and everyone is focusing about what if this happens, what if this happens. But as a software engineer or any particular person, you have to think about it, folks. Okay, so this is not the way that has to be taught, but they have to talk very into the depth level. Okay, they are just wasting time, and things is happening here. So that's why I thought to create this particular video, and that makes lot of sense also. Okay, so that's it from my side, folks. This was it from my side. What is in VPC, what are the internal terminologies involved here? So that was it from my side, folks. Let me know in comment section below, folks, how you think about this particular video. Let me know in this list. Okay, have a great day, evening, folks, and keep learning and keep exploring. Don't rely on only the trainer